Okay, so here are my broken bolts in my truck. I got that one broken and the one in the back broken. This is really to clamp down the rear. You can see where it's black on the cylinder head, all the soot, the carbon, that's from leaking for years probably. So this is how it works. The two bolts bolt into the back of the head. This would be like the driver's side, rear of the head. So the bracket bolts in here, and then you've got one bolt that's gonna put pressure on the back of the manifold. It's offset so it doesn't go through the hole, which is going to press on the iron. So you crank it down, it's supposed to fix that leak. Because what happens, of course, is the back bolt breaks off, just like this one. It'll snap off without even trying to take off the bolts just by themselves from the heat cycles. The different metals expand and shrink at different rates. So the head of the bolt just pops off eventually and the manifold warps. And then we have an exhaust leak around the exhaust port here, which is exactly what my truck's doing. This is supposed to fix it. So something like that. And it's supposed to clamp the manifold down, seal it up with the snapped off bolts. Because pretty much the only way to really fix it is to weld on a nut, especially if it's in the back. You can't drill it straight on or put a tap in there, because it's basically it's like an inch from the firewall. There's not enough room for that. So if it's in the back, this is really the easiest solution. Otherwise, if it was like further up front, you could probably weld on a nut or drill and tap it out, or use an extractor. But you can't do that in the very back. So that's why we're trying this method, see how it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a cold start, because it is worse on a cold start. Maybe you can hear the exhaust leak. Alright guys, there it is. It's installed. I actually screwed up the bolt that applies pressure. The one that goes on the side right there, I had to use another bolt, like an extra bolt I had. But no big deal. It serves the same purpose. It's applying pressure right there where that broken bolt is. Even though this one's missing, this tool is actually enough to stop the exhaust leak, even with this bolt broken off right there in the center of the camera. There's a bolt broken there and in the very back. But just this tool alone, 100%, well, from the inside of the truck so far, it's gone. You can't hear the exhaust leak, not even a little bit. To me, it's completely gone. But I think I'm gonna stick the camera under the hood and get like an after shot, because I did that before recording under the hood. Now I'm gonna do an after. But inside the truck, I can't hear the exhaust leak at all. It's awesome. It definitely works. So I was a little skeptical, but it worked. It worked perfectly. It was a giant pain in the butt to install, though. I will say that. A lot of people say, oh, it's easy, no big deal, it's easy installation. No, it sucks. Look how close the head of that bolt is to the firewall. The bolts are just the perfect size to sneak them in there. So basically, it's like you're trying to line up the bracket and line up the bolt to get it a straight shot into the threads. At the same time, the head of the bolt is like touching the firewall, that heat shield on the back. It's a lot. I had to lay across the engine. And have like both my hands back there, trying to get it in the threads in the back of the head, make sure everything was straight, the bracket, the bolts, and it sucked. So there's a bolt there, and there's another one on the bottom side of the bracket that you can't see that goes into the back of the head. And I basically had to thread that in like it was like a bell housing bolt. I had to get underneath, and I actually got it in place from underneath the truck. And then to tighten it, I tightened both of them from the top with a ratcheting wrench. They were 15 millimeters. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They were 14. And I had to use one with a 15 millimeter head right there, because GM likes to use 15 mils. That's a GM bolt. But yeah, so it's 14 millimeters. And I used a ratcheting wrench because that's really, you can't fit a socket back there. There's no way, there's not enough room. It's got to be a wrench. And if it's not rationing, it's going to take you years to crank those suckers down. Anyways, let me set up my phone. I'm going to do the before shot now. It's going to be a cold start, so it's in the same scenario as last time. And if it's anything like it is inside the truck, hopefully it captures just how well it stopped an exhaust leak, because it should be completely gone. So the exhaust leak was coming from back here. I'm going to fire the truck up now. Anyways, like I said, from inside the truck, I can't hear the exhaust leak at all. I hope in the video it does it justice. I'll probably do, I'll do like a montage. I'll combine them together again to remind you what it sounded like before. But after, I mean, I'm super happy with it. It was a pain in the butt to install. Like I said, cut up my knuckles a little bit. It was a very tight squeeze, but it fixed the issue. So I can't complain. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, even though it is missing another bolt. In a lot of scenarios, it's only missing the one back. This one's missing both back bolts, and it still fixed the issue. So huge props to this tool. It's been out for a long time, actually. I think they got it released like 8 years ago, and I can't believe I never heard of them. I only came across them maybe like a week ago, and I've been messing with the LSs for a long time. I'll link this in the description. Please, if you're gonna buy it, use the link. It helps me out. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Later.